Hi, I'm Andy from Echo Pool. I'm just making a quick video to show you some of the options that are now available for you to use here at Echo Pool. In the past the rules have been very strict. One thing in particular was you were only ever allowed to use boilies or bring boilies on site. But now we've done this, now we've associated ourselves with Palatrax, your options for baiting have vastly increased. I'll also show you some of the things I've been doing, little tips and tactics, and some of the other bits and pieces. Right, first we'll start with the weight situation. We've banned lead. Lead's toxic, so it's a no-brainer really, especially on a water the size of ours. I'm sure everyone knows by now the stones. I mean, you can't get more of a natural fishing weight than a stone. They've proven themselves all over the place. I don't really need to say any more than that. To a fish, that's a stone, it's not a fishing weight. I've also made up some steel weights, iron weights, whatever you want to call them, in several different shapes. Got barrels, squares, they're all 2.5 or 3 ounce. And I've also made up a running rig weight, which I'll go into a little bit later. And this weight, this one's only 1.5 ounces, but I'll show you how I've been using that in a minute. And I've also made non-toxic back leads, or back weights we'll call them now, which are basically just a little clip. So you put the clip over the line, put your back lead back on, then if that gets snagged or while you're playing the fish, the clip will just release and the back lead's gone. No one likes playing a fish with a back lead on. Well, I certainly don't. Right, firstly I'll show you my rig that I've been using. Ignore the bead for now, that will become evident in a minute. Right, I've been taking, and it always happens, I've been taking one of the new Flares jungle fluo pop-ups from Palatrax. This one's a swab, and I've been taking off about 1/3, so I'm not cutting it halfway through. I'm just flattening off the bottom a bit. Then I'm taking a boilie, in this case multi-worm, and just flattening the top of that off, just so they sit together nice. Bit fussy of me, I know, but it's been working. It's exactly this that caught me Tasha's fish the other day at, God, I can't remember, £71 I think it was. Also the same on several other fish with the different colours available. You've got pink and you've got orange. Excuse me while I do this. Right, so there's the rig I've been using. One of my weights, fished inline drop-off, Palatrax uncoated braid. Now this year we've never allowed uncoated braid in the past, but this year you can use it, but it has to be the Palatrax uncoated braid. We do not allow any other uncoated braid on site. I've got shrink tube, again Palatrax. This stuff has possibly impressed me more than any other part of the Palatrax tackle. I haven't liked shrink tube in the past because it never shrinks enough. It's either too small to start with that you can't get it over the eye that you want to use, or it's too big and doesn't shrink down. This stuff, it's just bang on. I can't stress that enough. Long hair with my bait, which is critically balanced. This will basically sit on the bed, like on the lake bed like that, with the hook on the deck, with the bait wafting around but staying on the bottom. Also, this is a Palatrax The Hook barbless. Again, this is the only hook we're going to allow this year. As the season progresses, and I've seen some other barbless hooks, they may be added to list. But for the start of the season, it's just the Palatrax barbless The Hook. I've been using a size 4, they're quite a small pattern size 4. I certainly wouldn't go any lower than a size 6. So that's basically the rig I've been using. Right, now the bead comes into play. I've had a lot of questions since putting the rules up regarding using my running rig. So I'll explain that now. I'll just remove the weight. This is an inline weight. So I've now got my rig, swivel, main line with the tubing over the top. Now the tail rubber covers your swivel, so your swivel's still sticking out, and then this is where the bead comes in. So that's what you've got attached to your rod basically. Hook link, metre of tubing and a bead. Now with the weight I've made, it's got a small hole on one side and a large hole on the other, and a small clip which I've tempered so it's springy. Place this over your tubing, push the clip in and make sure it pushes through to the larger hole so you've got a decent grip on that, so when you're reeling in, or you're not going to lose it basically. So there's the running rig. I've never allowed running rigs in the past because they always rely on the weight having to pass. If you've got a breakage, the weight has got to pass all the way along the tubing, all the way along the main line till it comes to the end. Now in my experience here, the line is always burrs nested, so that weight's never going to come off, and if it gets snagged, the fish could be on X amount of line swimming around and round in circles, and we're never going to spot that. So that's the reason I've never allowed them. But with my rig, it'll work exactly the same as any other running rig, just pulling through, so you get better bite indication if the fish comes at a different angle or whatever. But if that lead does become snagged, it will come off because of the clip. It will also probably come off if you're playing the fish violently. Oh, held the wrong part, held the tube rather than the... There you go, it's come off. Clip's gone. The tubing would still be in place. So our fish are protected by the tubing. Something we insist on, a metre of tubing, so we don't get any damage to the fins or any scales lifted, and you're just playing nice and clean like that. And if the lead does become snagged, obviously it's going to drop off. It doesn't rely on it passing the full length. So that's the running rig. That's my basic rig with my hook bait. Now a couple of other little things that I've been doing. Firstly, steel won't absorb liquid, but what I have found is, this is Palatrax Elixir 6. It's an overspray for your baits, but what I've been doing is spraying it onto my baits, just rubbing it around, nice and sticky. Makes them go a bit darker, but it's obviously also an attractant to the fish. This is crustacean, or not 100% sure, crustacean cream caramel maple flavour. So you've got that sitting there as an attractor, but what I've also found is it stays on, because it's oil based, it stays on, and it will actually pick up grit and bits and pieces from the bottom of the lake. So when I've been reeling in, I've got a nice coated lead that's still got that attractant on it, and very rarely have I reapplied it. So that's just one of the little tricks I've been using. Now I'm all sticky. Right. Now this stuff, this is, let me get it right, bloodworm and maggot crush or Palatrax. I love this. I can't. It's basically full. It's a ground bait mix. You probably can't see from here, but it's absolutely full. Maggot, bloodworm. Looks like there's hemp in there. It's got everything you'd want in there. But we haven't allowed ground bait here in the past. Basically, we've had a big issue with baits. I'll go into that another time. But what I've been doing is I've been getting our pellet. Anyone who's fished it will know how rock hard this pellet is. That's 15mm pellet, the only pellet we sell. built a tumbler to crush it up, so it's now this lovely, fine, just nice round pellet. So I've been adding that in with the Palatrax bloodworm and maggot crush. The reason I'm doing that is because our fish have been feeding on this year in, year out, all year round, I don't know, for 6-7 years. So they know this, they know the smell of this. So the reason I'm adding it to this mix is so there's a familiar food signature for them. So I'm just stirring that up. That's nice. Just set that aside for 1 minute and I'll explain these other things. Right, these are Palatrax Naturals Hydra range. I mean, this is water mussel, for example. They come dry and you have to put them in water, I think, for 12 or 24 hours, and basically they turn back into a natural, these have been sat in the sun for a while, but a natural, what they were originally. Easiest way to describe it. You get them in, that's water mussel, black snail, small snail and brown snail. I haven't used these because I wanted to make sure how the multi-worm and the crave performed, to see if there was one that was better than the other, and as it turns out there isn't. They both work superbly. But we've got some tricky old fish in here and some that don't get catched or very rarely get catched. Caught, should I say. Now, that has got to be a blinding carp bait. They're going to come across these naturally. This is the brown snail. Now in the autumn when I get the fish again, I'll be concentrating on using these. But what you can also do with these is chuck them in with your mix. The smaller black snail, just chuck in. With the bigger stuff, I've just been snipping them up a bit, just to break them up. I won't go mad, I'm sure you're getting the idea. So you've got this lovely ground bait mix. Let's just smash them up a bit and get them out of the way. Scoobs, what are you doing? Right, so you mix all that together. Chuck in a splash of water till you get sort of a nice fluffy mix that bonds nicely together. Scooby, come and sit down. Come on. Up there. Sit down. Good boy. Scooby's favourites are the crave. You don't want this too wet, so you want it to bind. Perhaps I'll add some music to the video when I'm doing this bit. Okay, so that's starting to ball up. Now, all the fishing here is basically done in bait boats. In fact, I prefer people to use bait boats. You don't get tackle hanging from the trees. More importantly, you don't get people casting heavy weights on top of your fish. Right, so you've then got a nice ball with all that goodness in, including the food signature of our pellet. Now, when I'm putting out my freebies along with my hook bait, I've been using plenty of boilie, plenty of pellet, but I've also been putting a couple of these balls in, just like that. I might put another video on showing you how these break down in the water, but basically that will hit the lake bed, start breaking down, and all the bits and pieces in it will start floating up at different levels and at different times, actually creating a column of bait in the water. So it's just brilliant. Now, Palatrax use this with their stones by wrapping it around their stones. You can see the video on the website. But this is why I've come up with this weight. What I've been doing, the hole in the middle, I've been packing that rock hard in the hope that that's going to stay in there for as long as possible, really squeezing it in there. So you got that sitting on the bottom. Now it's really pushed in hard, and then obviously at times I've also balled around it like so. I've only done this occasionally because I believe putting the balls out on their own, they're falling near your bait, so that's not really necessary, but I do like to use that weight with it packed in nice and tight. But as you can see, that's nice solid, quickly mixed up, and a nice little option for you to be able to use. There's other bits and pieces from Power Tracks. I mean, you can use any bait you like from their range, any of their products. They do some great dips, plugs, etc. And I think that's really about it. A couple of other rule changes this year. I'm insisting on 12-pound line with a sensible amount of stretch. When I say sensible, I don't mean like a big rubber band, but at the same time it needs to have a bit of stretch. I've trialled a couple of lines this session, and I had one in particular that was very, very low stretch to it. I had a couple of fish on it, and I hated it. It really felt like the hook was going to pull at any minute. We were going to bring in a rule about rods, but I now think it's more important the line that anglers are using. In other words, that line is acting as a shock absorber as well as the rod. I think that just about covers it all. Yeah, all information you need about Echo Pool is on the website, obviously where you've probably found this video. That's good. So it's good night from me, and it's good night from him. Have a pellet, my man.